Okay, so today I'm putting cab lights on my 2014 6.7 Powerstroke. It's a King Ranch, so I'm not sure why it doesn't have cab lights. I'm sure it was just an option from what I've searched on Facebook and stuff like that. On other diesel pages is most of them don't have cab lights. So the right way to do it, I guess, is to buy the whole new harness and the factory Ford housing and lens and the wire harness, all of that. But that's like 300 bucks. So I'm doing it the cheap way. I just bought some off Amazon and I'm just gonna run just a ground and a power wire and just splice it into my parking lights. So first I started with pulling the handle that's here. There's two 7mm bolts in it, I believe. It's right here. You just pop these little things off and there's two little bolts in there and it comes right out. But the airbag is right here, which obviously doesn't fall out or anything. And then you have to pull the seat belt off. There's just like a little piece that slides over this. This little piece here just like slides in like this way. Pull that off, and then you have to take this bolt out. It's a Torx bit and it's a T50. So once you pull that out, then you have to pull this plastic piece and then pull, I don't think you have to pull this whole piece out. You just have to like open it a little bit to get this higher piece out. Like caps, these things that go right here on in the back seat. And you want to try to go from the side right here and just pop them out this way. It's like a little pick. I kept trying to go different ways and it wasn't working, but as soon as I went here and popped it out, it came right out. Take out the, I think it's a 7mm bolt. Take this out and this should come out. Okay, so once you get those two screws out, you can pop this B-pillar out. This came right off of here. You don't have to pull this piece obviously because it's nowhere near the headliner, but that other piece just slides in here and came right out. Okay, so next you're gonna pull this down. I already pulled it down, but I accidentally hit the wrong button on record, so it didn't record. But you just basically pry your fingers in underneath this and it just slides right out. And then you unhook these two harnesses, which is super easy, and then this whole thing comes down. Okay, so these bolts that hold the visor in up here is a T20 Torx, just so you know, and it's the same for the clip that goes in here for this little piece. Those are both a T20 Torx. I just have it in a, can't see it, 1/4-inch socket just because I couldn't find a thing to go in the impact. So I got both A pillars, both B pillars. These are hanging by the wire for the power for that. I don't know how to get that out. I tried prying on it, but it won't come out. So I don't know what to do with that, but this is just Velcroed to the thing, it seems like. So I'm just kind of pulling on this a little bit. And you got to be careful not to force it and bend it. I might have to pop this out. Oh, no, I don't think that's holding it. Just you don't want to crease it when you're pulling it out, so be very careful of that. And it should come down just like that. So there's like a couple little plastic things like where this Velcro is in here. It's just kind of caught on the thing for the dome light. So to go around a little bit. And now, as you can see, like you have, all the room here to get to where you need to go in here to run your wires and drill your holes and all of that. So before I drill my holes, I'm gonna lay towels in here so it doesn't go in the headliner from the metal shavings and all of that. But I gotta measure it all out and mark it up top still. But basically, that's all it is underneath there. And now I just gotta drill my holes and run my wires. See, so my harness doesn't have a place for the plugs, which I didn't order. Like I said, I didn't order the Ford one, so it doesn't matter, but I'm just assuming that all of them are like this and don't have it. See, this is the bucket where the dome light goes. Yeah, so I'm just gonna drill my holes through there and like I said, just run a regular power and a ground. I'm just gonna run it down that pillar and just splice into the parking lights. Okay, so I got my dots marked for where I'm gonna drill my holes. It was kind of a pain to figure out what they were. Like I had them measured, and then you can see I had to put new tape down and remark them. But yeah, it was a little bit of a pain because the cab right here rolls, so that was difficult to measure off of. So yeah, just if you have another truck to compare it to, that's your best bet. I went outside and just did it off my 6.4 and just stole the measurements from like what center was here on the front of this one, and then I measured what the back was from here to here. My center here from front to front was 8 1/8 of an inch, and then back here was 7 7/8 of an inch in the back. So that's how I did that. I don't remember what it was across here, but from this part of the cab where it rolls out, it was, I believe, 8 1/2 inches from here to the cab, and then it was 8 inches from here to there. I just measured from here to here and there to there to make sure that, you know, this side matched this side. I tried running a straight off of this here, this whatever rain track thing, whatever, I don't know what these dents are even for, but to try to get it straight because this isn't straight, but that wasn't working. So I ran a straight from the edge of the cab out. That wasn't working, so I couldn't trust what that was. So I ended up just going off my other truck and measuring out what it was. And like I said, actually started in the center, so I just went center, you know, 8 1/8 of an inch, and then 7 7/8 of an inch from center to the left, center to the right. It's definitely going to be more difficult for the guys who don't have a sunroof because I'm standing here. This is making it much easier, but it's obviously still doable. But I'm going to start drilling these holes, and I'm praying that they're straight. Okay, I got all my holes drilled. The bit I was using kind of tore that out, but that's okay because obviously it's going to be under the cab light. But I'm gonna go and add the silicone to these now to make sure that, you know, in the rain or whatever, ice gets under there, freezes, pushes it up. I want to make sure no water gets in there. So I'm going to add some silicone in there and put the housings in. Okay, so I have all these ran. I haven't stuck this up yet, but got this ran down here. It was a little bit tricky getting it through here. I got all the wires ran and everything. So you can see, like, this plug, this whole wiring harness was out of a 2000, so I'm assuming that this was the plug for maybe the sunroof back then, or the, you know, the lights or something. I don't know, because there's a bunch of different wires for it. But I just took these two. I used the brown and the black that were connected to each one of the cab lights, and I just cut that out of the plug, and then I just ran my own wire, these two wires up here. I ran those up through the firewall and ran them into the side marker light. It's like right here in the headlight. So I just spliced it into that and just ran it through here, over your booster, down to the firewall, and that's that. So then when you turn your parking lights on, you have cab lights. As you can see, there's my parking light. Obviously my headlight's out. Yeah, it's pretty simple just to run that through and splice it into the other piece. Have to put this headliner back up in there and do something with this, because I think it's supposed to plug in here. These are, and obviously these are in the way because I didn't get a whole new harness. I just used a different one. So I'm just gonna have to like zip tie this up or something so that it's not rattling on here. And then put the headliner back in and be good to go. Here's the other end of the connector that I'm just assuming was for the overhead lights. So I just taped it up out of the way so that it didn't rattle and stuff on the headliner. Yeah, you can see just a brown and a black wire. So I just used both of those, and that's what I used. Oh yeah, the reason that those bolts are rusty, I had to use different housings out of a 2000 F250 because the ones that I bought, these are the ones I bought, and you can see they are flat. They're not round with the cab. Luckily my buddy had some on a truck that he had that was like, he had just had a smashed cab and had some cab lights on it, so I just went over there and pulled them off there and used them for this. So luckily this was right up the street, so I went and got those. But yeah, make sure, I don't know, I went the cheap way. It didn't end up paying off because I ended up having to get OEM Ford lights anyway on there to, you know, make sure that it rolls with the cab. So if you're gonna do it, it's worth spending the money versus getting this far into it, getting your holes drilled, and then the housing isn't right and you have a leak or whatever. So if I were to do it again, I would go just buy brand new ones instead of even using these ones, because these are off of 2000, so they're like kind of cracked and stuff. But if they leak or whatever, I'll have to pull them back out and redo them, but I think that they'll be okay. So here they are all done. It's been a few days now that they've been done. Took us through the car wash a couple of times just to test to see how they'd hold up, and they never leaked. And since then I pulled the headliner to put the Starlight headliner in it. So I've had the headliner out a few times and it's been dry. So I just used some silicone up there underneath those, even though they're cracked, and it was still fine. So I'm glad that that worked out. Hopefully this video helped you with your install on your cab lights. It's very tedious, but like I said, I think it looks way better, and so to me it's worth doing. Hopefully this video helped you and you don't run into any issues when you're doing yours. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.